The Supreme Court, meanwhile, is set to allow the Trump administration to enforce a ban on transgender service members. The 63 order was divided along ideological lines and allows the administration to proceed as legal challenges move through lower courts. CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford joins me now for a little more analysis of this. Walk us through this decision today and what it means in practicality for the administration as it tries to enforce this ban.
Well, I mean, you really just hit the nail on the head. I mean, it means that the Trump administration will be able to implement it while the litigation continues in the lower courts. It was an unsigned order. The justices didn't give any explanation for why they were lifting this nationwide injunction. Neither did the three liberals who would have kept that in place. But what that means is now this order, which, as you know, Ed, was one of the very first ones the president did on his first day in office. He revoked President Biden's policy. He issued his own executive order allowing transgender service members to serve in the military, and then followed that up a week or so later with his own executive order to ban them. Now, this is similar, and the administration argued in court in their filings that it was essentially indistinguishable from the policy that Trump had in his first term. And during that time, the Supreme Court also allowed it to take effect.
So there's more than one case regarding this working its way through the lower courts, right?
That's right. So the one that they looked at today was this nationwide injunction entered by a federal district judge in Washington state. The federal appeals court there based in California will take a look at this case now. It'll go back down there. There's also a case here before the federal appeals court in D.C. And then there's another one in New Jersey. What does that mean? That means that as this litigation goes forward, it's very likely to at some point get back to the Supreme Court for a decision on the merits. I would expect the Ninth Circuit very well could come out differently than the D.C. Appeals Circuit Court of Appeals here, which would mean you've got that division and the justices will have to weigh back in and look at the merits.
And there's at least one of these cases involves 7 transgender service members. What has been their argument to continue? And do we have any sense, do they now literally have to step away from service as they continue fighting this?
I think that there's another week or 30 days. I'm not sure the time period where the administration has to figure out how they're going to implement it, but that essentially seems to be the gist of the executive order, yes. They argued, the transgender service members argued that, you know, they've served our country honorably and that this order is blatantly unconstitutional. It's a prohibition on transgender people in violation of the First Amendment, equal protection issues. And so that's been kind of the force of their arguments, just like that was very similar arguments made 8 years ago in Trump's first term.
Yeah.
But the administration argues in their filings that, you know, the military is entitled to great deference. And the Pentagon concluded that, quote, it was, quote, affecting military readiness and lethality. And so they believe that this was essential to having an effective fighting force. So
this likely now goes another year at least, though, right? It won't be decided by the end of this term.
I don't think it'll be that quickly. I mean, I think it would. I mean, they could do anything on an emergency basis like we saw today. But I think that this would be something that's probably a year away.
Okay. Jan Crawford, our chief legal correspondent, thanks for that. We'll catch up with you soon. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata joins us now from over at the Pentagon. What do we know now about the nuts and bolts of implementing this ban? And do we have any hard numbers on how many service members are transgender?
Yes. And Ed, we're going to get to that in a minute because there's been no official statement from the Pentagon. I don't expect that we'll get one, but the reason I'm looking down at my phone is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reposted another massive victory in the Supreme Court. This is from Caroline Leavitt, saying Trump administration can enforce transgender military ban, Supreme Court says. Again, restoring readiness and lethality, not DEI or gender ideology. So this is something the Defense Secretary has been behind, if you want to put it that way, from day one after President Trump's executive order on that term. And as Jan said, revoking an order that had already been in place by President Biden to let transgender members serve. So it's been a roller coaster for transgender members that we've spoken to. A lot of them just said, look, I'm going to quit because I can't take the uncertainty. Some of them have families. Many took issue what was seen as like a personal attack, an executive order that wrote in part, it's inconsistent. An individual's sex conflicts with a soldier's commitment to honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle. Now, in terms of the numbers, It's hard to tell because in terms of how the DOD describes people that have or transgender individuals, they say they describe it as gender dysphoria, right? A medical condition that would disqualify them from service. In that regard, according to statistics, 0.2% of service members. That puts the number at about 4,200 people. But advocacy groups that we've spoken to said the actual number is around 15,000. And they also point out these are highly trained, highly experienced individuals, and their removal would have an impact on force readiness.
Yeah, and that's part of the argument about the back and forth is that what are you doing to potentially disrupt military operations if you're pulling people out, allowing them to get back in? But it'll all play out in the courts in the coming year or so. One other thing we got to get to with you today, the president announcing the U.S. and the Houthis have come to an agreement to stop attacks against each other. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that announcement, if you want to call it that, a surprise announcement, came out of the Oval Office this afternoon. It sent all of us scurrying here to find out what that meant. Yes, the United States has stopped or will soon stop their military operations against the Houthis. Now, this new operation had started, or the intensification of it, had started back in March, right? 7-8 weeks or so now. And that will stop. That doesn't necessarily mean that what we've seen in the past couple of days, the Israelis hitting the Houthis and really bombarding the Houthis, those are two separate operations. The United States military has made clear, officials have made clear, that what the Israelis have been doing in the past couple of days had nothing to do with the United States aside from, deconfliction and cooperating in terms of conversations they were having about what the Israelis were doing and when. But last week, Sean Parnell, part of the DOD, said 1,000 targets had been hit. So they've really been bombarding the Houthis, but it came as something of a surprise. The first confirmation we got was actually from the Foreign Ministry of Oman, who have been the mediators between the United States and the Houthis. The Houthis, to their part, they said they're not really going all the way with this. They haven't said it's a ceasefire. They're looking to see what actions the United States are going to take from this point on. The other question is why would they have folded now? It may be that they genuinely couldn't sustain the bombardment that they were taking because the United States is throwing a lot at them over the past 7 or 8 weeks, and now they're also dealing with the Israelis. So, and I can also tell you that the Israelis weren't informed that the United States was going to pull back from this military operation. So,
and all of this coming, of course, right before the president goes to the Middle East. So that may have been part of why they wanted to rush this out the door to show that the U.S. is doing something to bring peace to that region.
Exactly that.
We'll see. All right, Charlie Daggett over at the Pentagon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed.